Yeah,
Go ahead.
our former colleague here at ESPN, certainly miss him, and now the Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups ripped his team's effort after Monday's 116-86 loss to the Los Angeles Clippers, calling the performance embarrassing. Chauncey, talk to me.
It was really embarrassing. Just the effort. You know, I didn't think that we started the game off with the right mindset. I mean, we talked in the locker room about the Clippers. They hadn't won a game yet. 2 tough losses, but they were desperate to get a win. You know, you were at home, and we tried to, defend against that. But from the very first play of the game, we turned the ball over. We couldn't get the ball where we needed to go. Their pressure really hurt us, and it continued to snowball the rest of the way.
Okay, Portland 1-2 on this very young season. I'll start with you, Stephen A. Do you think it was smart for Chauncey to call out the Blazers?
No, I do not. I'm not going to knock him for it. He just got there. He's young at this job. I think he's a fresh infusion that they needed because even though I respect Terry Stott's basketball knowledge and he's been in the game a long time, sometimes you just need a new voice, okay? And I think that Chauncey Billups could be that guy. Here's the problem where it gets tricky. Damian Lillard, there's been rumors all offseason that he was contemplating wanting to leave Portland. He ended up declaring that he wants to stay. I happen to know that, if he does leave, it'll be to be a member. Sorry, my mic almost fell. It'll be to be a member of the New York Knicks. He ain't interested in going anywhere else, but he wants to stay in Portland. The point is, with that specter, Tim, you knew it's possible. So you take the job. And the reason why Damian Lillard basically changed his stripes is because he wanted to give Chauncey Billups a chance. Now, Damian Lillard is playing horribly these first few games. Everybody relax. It's Damian Lillard. All you need to see is that he's averaging 17 points with 36% shooting and 0.083% from three-point range. Is that Damian Lillard? Please. This is not going to last. He's going to drop 50 within a week. Trust me. He'll be just fine. But if you're Chauncey and you're new to the job and you go out like that, remember, you got a few months of a window. And there's no doubt in my mind that there's some pressure that Chauncey Billups is feeling to make sure you ingratiate yourself with the team in such a fashion that guys gravitate to you instead of wanting to run away from you. So when you're that young and you're only 3 games in, and let's face it, Chauncey was a little bit emotional himself, Tim, because he was playing against his team that he was an assistant coach on last year, which was the Clippers. And you go into the building and get shellacked by them. That's not a good feeling. But you got to chill in the early stages. Work your way up to that. That's what I'm saying.
It's a shame you just can't be honest and forthright as a coach. You just can't do it.
Can't do it.
In his situation, because he's a former player, he's a first-year head coach. This is what you always worry about with guys that are former players and this is their first job. The frustration that these dudes aren't playing as hard as I played as a player, right? We always worry about that. This is the second time he's used the word embarrassing. He said it after a preseason game.
Wow.
So that's twice. That's a big word to use as a head coach. I'm embarrassed by the way my team played in their effort. Second time he's used it. So, no, he shouldn't have used that word. I completely agree with you, Stephen A., as far as the ice that he's walking on with regard to Damian Lillard. But here's the thing. Some people are reading in too much to Damian Lillard here to start the year. You just hit it on the head. If he just shoots 40% from the 3, which is what he has been throughout his career, he's averaging 27 points a game right now.
That's right.
It's going to get back on track quickly. Now, look, I want to be honest. I don't get to see every team an entire game this early in the season.
Of course not.
They play tonight. I will have a much more educated response on what is going on with that team and him in particular if this continues tonight. I want to see what they're running. I want to see the rotations. I want to see Damian Lillard's body language. I want to watch all that before I can say this is maybe something bigger here. My bigger thing with Chauncey is it's a bad sign you have to say that when you've been there for a month trying to set the tone in training camp. And you're using the word embarrassing 4 games in. That's not a good sign.
Real quick, Swagoo, before you know, just to throw this info to you, I do happen to know that Damian Lillard addressed the team after they lost, and he ripped the team as well. And he's already spoken to Chauncey about Chauncey's comments. So everything's cool, but you might want to watch using the word embarrassing. Well, go ahead.
This to me is, I'm flabbergasted by you and Tim Legler right now. Because when you talk about effort, a coach is going to use choice words when effort comes into the equation. Playing bad? Cool. We had an off night, guys. We didn't play well. But effort, we all know Chauncey Billups and the way he's respected in the NBA, not by people in NBA circles, by NBA players. These guys, it's certain guys that can say certain things. And I look at this situation as I understand being a player and you have an expectation for guys to perform every night, especially when you play to the level Chauncey Billups played at. But this is also respect. Damian Lillard understands what Chauncey Billups is saying. Damian Lillard was the guy saying we have to do something different in order to try to win a championship. He okayed this because he knows Chauncey Billups and how he goes about doing things. I get it this early in the season. I understand about Dame and he's going to get better. Obviously, we expect him to be an all-star level player, elite, where he does it from. But when you got to, as a head coach, got to come 3-4 games into a season and effort needs to come up, you damn right he gonna say embarrassed. He gonna use choice words. This ain't about Chauncey Billups. This is about what they ask Chauncey Billups to come in and do. I hope the Blazers respond and not get in their feelings about what he said, but respect him because he was a player and understands what this means.
You can hope it. You can hope it. I just don't know if it'll be that way. This is his third game in the NFL, Swagoo. I hear where you're coming from, but it's his third game.
NBA.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.